Wyoming is a great place. It's located in the center part of the university on the western side.
You said that a guaranteed on-campus job.
Yes.
Right? Whenever I hear guaranteed, and as a counselor, as a mentor, I hear scam. It's not possible to get. What would be the annual cost that one can budget for?
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Study Abroad with Bhushan. Today we have University of Wyoming from the Wyoming state in the United States with us today. I'll ask our guests to introduce themselves and what do they do, and just give a small introduction, Manuela.
Yeah, my name is Manuela and I'm the Managing Director of Wyoming International, a partnership between the University of Wyoming and Shorelight.
Yeah.
And I have wonderful Kyle Moore here with me today.
Yes, my name is Kyle Moore. I'm the Vice Provost for Enrollment Management at the university. So I get to help with the process of admissions and academic program entry for both undergraduate and postgraduate at the university.
Great. And which one of you looks at scholarships for us?
Yeah, that would be me as
yes,
well.
guys,
Yes.
of course, listen very carefully to what Kyle has to say, because we're going to be talking a lot about why US and with all that's going on with the new Trump administration. OPT scares and what all is happening in the US. I think we just want to try and bring out some of that reality, because you understand from thousands of students' experiences, especially at your own university, in University of Wyoming and others in the community. Thanks for joining us, by the way. And my number one question, which I try and answer for all my students, is how do you think our students can get their ROI if they're going to study in the US? Where is the job market? What should they study to be, have that effective skills for that job market? What are your, suggestions on that?
So we're in a very unique location. We're in the Rocky Mountain Range, what we call the Front Range, and that's a really growing area in the United States. We're getting a lot of people from California that are moving there. It's more affordable, it's cleaner, it's safer.
Yeah.
So the region is really growing, which means everything is growing, right? Healthcare industry, computing, data management, communication sector is growing, because there are all these needs for this new population coming in.
Right.
So a lot of students, even from Colorado, come up to Wyoming because education is more affordable. And then they might get their education, some of them stay, but a lot of them also leave to get better jobs in the Colorado area later on. But it's that investment that they make in Wyoming, because it is very affordable. We also have great on-campus job opportunities for students, so they can actually pay for some of their education, and we can guarantee that.
No, I'm going to get you more deeper on that one, Manuel, on the on-campus job opportunities. But you were earlier mentioning to me that there are some companies, large Fortune 500 companies, which are opening headquarters and large offices in Wyoming. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so some of them are in Wyoming. We have a lot of Bitcoin action going on. We also have a computer super center that opened recently, very close to our community. This might not be as interesting, but as my understanding is, there's a lot of renewable energy upcoming in Southeast and in Southeast Asia, India, in all of those regions. And in Wyoming, we're building one of the largest onshore wind farms right now. So there's a lot in that area, which might not be very relevant for you now, but I know it will be in the next
fancy, but
few
that is
years.
the future. So
yeah,
that's right.
It is.
If you're not future ready, then what are you investing in education for?
Yeah.
So I might also say one of the things that the ROI can be thought about is the University of Wyoming and the state of Wyoming is unique. In the state of Wyoming, we have only one university. And so we are that university.
Right.
What is special about that is we connect and we work with the state government, we work with the local industry and private sector, and so we are the bridge that connects both private and government sectors together. And so the amount of resources and opportunities and networking that allows students to be connected for research, to be connected for postgraduate studies, to be connected with industry opportunities in the state, and in the region, the University of Wyoming can leverage those connections and pass them on to students. That gives our students the opportunity to have a competitive advantage to students who are competing with states that have multiple
Right.
multiple universities for resource allocation. So that is one of the things that is unique and special about Wyoming. We have a great connection across sectors. It puts our students in an opportunity to build a resume like other institutions can't.
I think that's very important to note. I think one is that you're saying that Wyoming is upcoming.
Yes.
It's not crowded. So I think as part of ROI, it's also about
That's right.
probability of ROI.
That's
where
right.
we are saying that there's less competition.
Correct.
And hence definitely it gives more opportunity for the student. At the same time, University of Wyoming is the only university
That's right.
in Wyoming. I actually didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, it's like I would assume it's a big state. Huh? So
Yes.
that's fantastic, right?
Yes.
It sort of also reduces your competition.
It does.
So the probability of getting that opportunity is high, not
Yeah.
just because it's an upcoming,
That's right.
area in the U.S., but also there is a single university.
And the other benefit of that, even though there's less competition because of one university, it also has greater scrutiny. So we have to be exceptional at what we do because
Right.
all the eyes are focused on
There's
us.
nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide. We can't.
Yeah.
So we have to put a lot of effort and a lot of energy into making sure that we are excellent in the things we do. Otherwise, everyone knows.
And it's a tier 1 research.
It is a tier 1. That's exactly right.
Of course, it checks all the boxes.
Yes.
But as part of ROI, I think one important part is also the cost.
Sure.
So I also understand that Wyoming is very affordable, and University of Wyoming is also very affordable. Can
Yes.
you share a little bit about that?
As far as affordability within Wyoming, it is an affordable place to live because it is more rural, it is more agrarian, and so there is a connection to how the average person lives, and so that's reflected in housing cost and food cost and transportation. The University of Wyoming reflects that. We have one of the most affordable schools for domestic students in the country and one of the most affordable for international students within the U.S. In particular, amongst Research One, state land grant institutions like we are, one of the most affordable of the 860 in the U.S. And what that means is the affordability partnered with all the things we just talked about on ROI, the outcomes are really, really high for students.
So can you give us some numbers on cost of tuition? Let's say a master's in computer science. How much would a student have to pay in tuition for that?
Yeah, so right now the academic year is at about 22,000, so it makes it a little bit over 10
Right.
per academic year. That is with tuition and fees, and we have a current scholarship for students at 2,000, so that puts it a little bit under 10,000 for the academic year.
For the academic year?
Sorry, for the semester,
For the
that
semester,
would be,
yeah.
yes,
All
of
right.
course. Mhm.
So it's about $20,000 for a year, and how long would that program be? About 2 years? So about,
Two-year program,
so about
yeah.
near about $40,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So right, and how would you compare it to like the living expense of Wyoming to maybe New York is again
Yeah.
the highest of highest,
Yeah.
but maybe like a Seattle or like a Colorado. What is the delta in cost of living?
Yeah, I would say you can probably cut that into a third of the
Yes.
cost.
Into a
yeah.
third?
A third,
Yeah.
And that's
yeah,
crazy, right?
Yeah, it's
And
crazy, yeah.
so, how much would a student need to really, pay for housing and like food, and like general day-to-day things? What would be the annual cost that one can budget for?
I would say $1,000 a month is probably pretty
That's right.
It's pretty good.
conservative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good and lavish. You can have your fun on the weekends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I see Indian students actually scraping through. They
Yeah.
try and save every penny so that they can make with the least amount of money through the year. So
Right.
if I think 1,000 you were saying, I think probably a 650 to 700 would be good for an Indian student on a monthly basis because they live in sharing and
Yes.
so
Right.
so they are able to make that even more affordable.
That's right.
So But that's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
You don't get that easily, right? And
That's
at,
right.
at a big university like University of Wyoming.
And remember, we're so close to Fort Collins in Colorado and Denver in Colorado that students can still have, they can get the entertainment. They can go to
How long would it take from University of Wyoming to get there?
to Denver is about 2 hours.
2
Fort
hours?
Collins is also a big metropolitan
Yes.
area. Is about an hour.
It's about 1 hour. So it's
it's
right
very-
right there. So right 1 hour. We are right now in
Yeah,
Noida.
yeah.
To go for lunch, it's gonna take me like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's fantastic. Coming to that ROI point, right? You said that a guaranteed on-campus job.
Yes.
Right. Whenever I hear guaranteed, and as a counselor, as a mentor, I hear scam. It's not possible to guarantee. But you are able to say that with a very high probability, we can get our students jobs on campus.
Yeah.
How is that? And how does that work?
So, so the university is one of the biggest employers in the state, right? We
Okay.
have over 5,000 employees on
Wow.
campus, and 3,500 of those are students. So we have over 3,500 jobs every academic year for students, and it's a really important part because they're really integrated in the community. They learn skills. They learn the American workforce, how to work with their teams on campus, and they usually make between, I think, 10, the highest is about $15 an hour.
Right.
They can work
Yeah.
20 hours a week, so they can make up to $7,000, maybe $8,000 for the academic year. a year.
Right, and that's probably could be their entire living cost, right? So,
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's and 3,500. Do you give any preference to international students when it comes to giving them jobs?
Yeah, we work with them very closely. And remember, we don't have a state income tax, so they're really putting the money into their
Wow.
pocket. Yeah,
So
it's a
there
big
is no
deal.
state income
No,
tax. That entire income goes to them and
Yes.
can practically cover their entire living expense.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for our students in India because we are so value focused, and we don't mind, being the first to land in a new opportunity, right?
Right.
So I think that's a great insight.
Now, guaranteed only if a student wants the job.
Yeah,
of course,
but
right?
they're
I
not
mean,
going to
they
be
have to-
escape people out of that. Yeah,
So-
absolutely. I think with the whole new view on US right now, with the new Trump administration, and a lot of ambiguity around what's going to happen, I think universities' reassurance that we are there to take care of you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think is very, very valuable.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things that we're seeing is there may be a lot of concern at the big picture, but when it comes down to the university, we still take care of our students very, very well. And we know that we have a greater responsibility to make sure they're taken care of and make sure that they have opportunity, make sure that they are advancing in what it is they came for. That's where the responsibility should lie, and we think that's the good thing that's happening because of the Trump administration is it gives us the opportunity to have a bigger role in making sure our students are successful.
And have you seen your students who are appearing for visa interviews? Because of this whole commotion, there's also been a very high visa rejection in India. Any learnings that you've had from previous couple of intakes, advice to our students, what they can do, how can they prepare, and what will they take for them to end up coming to Wyoming and not get a visa reject and stay there?
Yes, I think they really need to focus on their education piece. They're there to get education,
Yes.
right? Do they want to work afterwards? Probably, very much so. That's why they
Yes.
come, right? But really focusing on those 2 years.
Right.
They, like Kyle said, we have a very, very amazing network in Wyoming. Our professors, faculty members, they have ties to the industries like no other university. They know people, so they're connecting students with those folks and make sure that they, maybe do an internship over the summer or OPT time. And that's how you start networking, right? You show your skills, you show your interest, and that's how you get out there. But I think it's really important to focus on the educational piece first.
But tell us a little bit more about Wyoming, right? That's something which is even I've been to US like a
Yes.
million times, but I've never been to Wyoming.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm happy to learn a bit more about the state. Something that which makes us feel a bit more familiar about it.
Wyoming is a great place. It's located in the center part of the university on the western side, right in the Rocky Mountain region. And so The state of Wyoming is located just above Colorado.
Yeah.
And so Laramie, where the University of Wyoming is about 2 hours north of Denver. So to give you an idea of where we're located. But what's great about Wyoming is it is very open, it is very welcoming, and it is an incredible scenic area of the United States. In fact, many of the photos that you see about the United States, many of those when they show outdoors come from the state of Wyoming. We have a very, very long history of energy and supply that provides minerals and extraction for not only the United States but globally. Very high producer, and so we work with those industries very closely and have provided great connections for students that way. We also have all 4 seasons, and so during the summer in particular, a hot day in Laramie is about 85 degrees.
Okay.
And there's 17 and a half hours of daylight. So you have a long period of lots of time to go out and explore and be a part. But we have all 4 seasons, and so in the summer, everything from hiking and rock climbing and rappelling and bike riding and jogging takes place. In the fall, some of that, and fishing and other kinds of outdoor activities.
It's going to be a fun place.
Yes, in the winter, snowshoeing and snow skiing and fat biking and all these kinds of things. And so we find that students who come from across the country and across the globe love having experiences that they can have outside at our university all 12 months out of the year. So it's a fun place to be. We also have, as one of the highest economic areas, is tourism. So people from all across, not only the U.S., but the world, come to Wyoming to see Yellowstone Park, and they come to see Devil's Tower.
Yellowstone is in Wyoming.
Yes, that's
so
right.
That's what you need to
Yes,
get.
yeah. So all of those things happen in Wyoming. So it's an incredible place.
Yeah, great. But he's biased because he's from Wyoming, right? So how about you, Manuel? How has your experience been?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Austria. I came from Europe too, and I've lived. The first time I came there was in the late '90s, and I moved there shortly after. I've lived there for 20 years. So it's a very safe and magical place. It's very clean, blue skies. People are very friendly. So there's a lot of really nice, like Kyle said, outdoors activities. So we go play outside, whether it's snowy or it's sunny. There's a lot of water activities. We go whitewater rafting. Again, Yellowstone National Park is very nearby. It's millions and millions of people come there every year to see it. So it's a very spectacular scene. Very different, of course, because it's wide open.
What would you say is more beautiful, Austria or Wyoming?
That's a hard one. It's
Wyoming.
Of course. Now you're so
They're equally beautiful, and I think some of the places are just as magical. I mean, it's a very unique place. It's very safe to travel. It's everything is very accessible. At the university, we have a really great different teams on campus that make sure they organize trips for students. So in the fall we get a couple of big buses and we make sure they're reserved for international students and take them up to Yellowstone National Park and show them around. We do a Devil's Tower trip sometimes with students. We have snowshoe weekends where we make sure we have all the gear for students, make sure they're equipped, because if you haven't experienced snow, it might be hard to know what to do. And so we really guide the students, and the students are very appreciative of those, go with a cohort, go with friends, and be guided and be safe and have a lot of fun. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Wyoming is iconic America. We still have all the things, if you think about historic, cultural, iconic America, everything from wide open ranges and blue skies and buffalo and horseback riding, all those things. It still happens. You should take a vacation. It's wonderful.
Definitely, Kyle is going to be running for the mayor of Wyoming.
That's right.
He is a big ambassador for that. But I think it sounds amazing, and it seems like a place if you want to be outdoors,
Yeah.
you want to enjoy
That's
being
right.
in nature and still have access to big cities. Wyoming is the place.
And just real quick, I know how important vegetarian food is
Yes.
for people here.
I am vegetarian.
We have a small but very fine restaurant scene in Laramie.
Okay.
So it's not chains like there's of course Pizza Hut and all that stuff. We have a lot of local really good restaurants. And one of my friends from California, they are from Santa Monica.
Okay.
She told me one of the best vegetarian restaurants she's ever eaten in is in Laramie.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's
There
really
you go,
true.
man.
So
Food is
Yes.
important.
there are
Yes.
options, really good options.
Yes.
Right.
So I think overall, if I have to summarize, I think it's we are talking about a great ROI just from the
Yes.
fact that there is low competition, not just in number of students, but also unique that it's a singular university.
That's right.
Combined with low cost of tuition and low cost of living,
Yes.
with large opportunities with like large cities like Fort Collins and Denver being close by. And it is a magical place to be in.
It is.
Like, it's so beautiful. And to top it all, it's practically having 3,500 jobs where international
Yes.
students are being prioritized on campus.
That's right.
Which I believe is a very big, unique thing
Yeah.
for the university, which a lot of universities try to hush. They say that, okay, you can if you do, but nobody's out there really committing that they would, support their international students. So I think that's a big, big plus. Thank you so much, both of you, Manuel and Kyle, for
Yes.
taking out time, talking about Wyoming and the University of Wyoming and sharing your experience. Thank you so much. And if you guys really want to know more about it, put Wyoming in the comment. I know you'll have to Google the spelling for that, but do that and learn a bit more about it, and our team will get in touch with you. Thank you so
Great.
much, and that's it for today. Thank you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes.
Okay.